The nice words from Coco Gauff at the net, actually explaining what the injury was. And even after explaining to Eala what happened and shaking the umpire's hand, Eala came back over a second time. And that's a special moment.
Alexandra, so many emotions right now. First of all, no one wants to have to play against an injured player. I am sure your heart is breaking for Coco right now.
Stop absolutely everything you are doing right now. Do not scroll past this video. Do not click away. Cancel your meetings. Put your phone on airplane mode. Disconnect your Wi-Fi from every other device in your house. Lock your door, close your blinds, and turn the volume on your speakers all the way up until the bass is literally shaking your floorboards. I need your absolute, undivided, unblinking, hyper-focused attention for the next few minutes. Because the unthinkable has just happened. The prophecy that the mainstream sports media laughed at, the warning that the established tennis hierarchy tried desperately to bury, has just materialized in the most violent, humiliating, and earth-shattering way imaginable. We told you. We sat here on this channel, and we explicitly told you that Alexandra Eala was stepping into the Indian Wells tennis garden not as a grateful participant, not as a lucky qualifier, but as an apex hunter. We told you that Coco Gauff, the American golden child, the reigning superstar, the face of billion-dollar corporate marketing campaigns, and the world #4 player, was completely and utterly unprepared for the psychological warfare that was about to hit her on her own home soil. But I am going to be completely honest with you right now. Even with all the locker room whispers, even with all the tactical analysis, absolutely nobody on the face of this planet predicted a total, catastrophic, systemic collapse of this unbelievable magnitude. What happened on Stadium 1 is not just a tennis result. It is not just a box score. It is a certified obituary for the old guard of the Women's Tennis Association. It is the definitive, undisputed, horrifying end of an era. The commentators on television right now are in a state of absolute paralyzed shock. The American broadcasters are desperately reading off cue cards, sweating heavily under the studio lights, stammering through their sentences, trying to spin a completely fabricated, sanitized narrative to protect their prized, heavily invested superstar. They are throwing out safe, corporate, focus group-tested words like unfortunate circumstances, medical timeout, nerve impingement, and precautionary measures. They are lying to your face. They are looking directly into the camera lens, and they are lying to you because the truth is too devastating for their sponsors to swallow. I need you to look past the official press releases, look past the PR spin, and expose the absolute, unvarnished truth that the mainstream media is absolutely terrified to say out loud. Coco Gauff literally quit. She surrendered. She waved the massive white flag, walked to the umpire's chair, and completely abandoned the match while trailing 6-2, 2-0. She did not just lose a tennis match to Alexandra Eala. Her spirit, her confidence, and her entire tennis identity were so completely crushed into a million tiny, unfixable pieces that she chose to flee the court after just 54 minutes of play. She chose to walk away in front of a massive, stunned crowd in a 16,000-seat arena rather than spend one more agonizing, humiliating, suffocating minute locked inside that concrete cage with the absolute monster that the Philippines has unleashed upon the professional tour. To truly understand the sheer magnitude of the trauma that was inflicted today, to understand why the WTA executives are currently having panic attacks in their boardrooms, we have to tear away the public relations excuses and dive incredibly deep into the cold, unforgiving reality of how this match actually played out, because the media is trying to sell you a convenient story about a random physical injury. Coco Gauff went to the press conference, sat behind the microphone, and claimed that she felt a scary pain in her left arm. She literally told the reporters, with a straight face, that it felt like a firework was going off inside of my arm, and that her whole arm felt like it was on fire. The medical staff is frantically trying to claim it is a suspected nerve issue to protect her brand value. But let us be brutally, unapologetically honest about what that fire actually was. That fire was pure, unadulterated, suffocating, paralyzing panic. That so-called nerve issue was her central nervous system completely and totally short-circuiting because she realized she was permanently locked on a court with a 20-year-old Filipina prodigy who was reading her mind, anticipating her every move, and completely neutralizing her absolute best weapons. Think about the intense, pressure cooker psychological backdrop of this match. You have to look at the history to understand the sheer arrogance of the American establishment coming into this week. Just last month, on February 20th at the Dubai Tennis Championships, Coco Gauff dominated Eala with a comfortable, breezy 6-0, 6-2 victory. The American media syndicate used that result to completely write Eala off. They pointed to that Dubai match and said, "See, the hierarchy is safe. The young girl from the Philippines is good, but she is nowhere near the level of our American superstar." The establishment thought this Indian Wells rematch was going to be a routine, easy primetime victory lap. They thought Eala was just a stepping stone, a warm-up act for Coco Gauff's inevitable championship run in the California desert. And for the very first few minutes of the match, under the blinding stadium lights, it looked like the corporate script was going exactly according to plan. The 21-year-old American star came out with aggressive authority, relying on her massive crowd support, and quickly seized a 2-1 lead in the first set. The commentators relaxed, the sponsors exhaled, the crowd cheered. But that is exactly when Alexandra Eala flipped the psychological switch. That is exactly when the polite, smiling young woman from the qualifiers completely vanished, and the cold-blooded, Nadal-forged tactical assassin stepped up to the baseline. Eala did not panic when she went down early. She didn't look at her coach with fear in her eyes, she didn't rush her shots, she simply downloaded Coco Gauff's entire game plan into her brain like a supercomputer, adjusted the spin on her racket, and unleashed an absolute terrifying avalanche that completely buried the world number 4 alive. Eala utilized a jaw-dropping, masterclass variety of shots that left the American superstar completely paralyzed. We are talking about perfectly timed drop shots that died in the Californian dirt, forcing Gauff to sprint forward in a panic. We are talking about aggressive, heavy, punishing baseline play that kept the American completely off balance and pinned deep behind the baseline. Eala strung together a terrifying, apocalyptic, completely humiliating run of 5 straight games to completely steal the first set 6-2. 5 straight games. She made the reigning US Open champion look like a confused amateur who had accidentally wandered onto Stadium 1. I want you to close your eyes and imagine the suffocating, pitch-black darkness of being Coco Gauff in that specific moment. You are the heavy favorite. You are playing at home. Your face is on every billboard outside the stadium. You are wearing custom-designed shoes. You just beat this exact same girl a few weeks ago in Dubai without breaking a sweat. And suddenly, inexplicably, she is making a complete mockery of your entire game. Every single time you try to hit a massive 100-mile-per-hour winner, Alexandra Eala is already standing there, perfectly balanced, waiting for it, absorbing your pace and returning it with a level of heavy topspin that feels like you are trying to hit a bowling ball. You hit it hard, she hits it harder. You try to play finesse, she drop shots you into oblivion. The 16,000 fans in the stadium go dead silent because they are watching their superhero get systematically dismantled. And this is where the total mechanical breakdown of Coco Gauff truly happened. We have to talk about her serve, because it is the biggest open secret in the WTA locker room right now, and Alexandra Eala exposed it to the entire globe. Gauff's serve mechanics are completely broken under pressure, and Eala knew exactly how to exploit them. Statistical analysts, the guys who crunch the numbers in the back rooms, have pointed out that Gauff's ace rate has violently plummeted this year, and she is winning a historically embarrassingly low 38% of her second serve points in 2026. Let that number sink in. 38%. That means her second serve is an absolute catastrophic liability, and Alex Eala was treating it like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Eala was stepping inside the baseline, aggressively attacking the second serve, and sending it back with blinding speed. Under the relentless, suffocating pressure of Eala's baseline returns, Coco Gauff started committing multiple, catastrophic double faults. Her arm was shaking so badly from the psychological pressure, the fear of humiliation was so intense that she literally forgot how to toss a tennis ball straight into the air. The fireworks in her arm were just the physical manifestation of absolute terror. Her brain was telling her arm, if you hit this ball over the net, she is going to hit a winner past us again. Stop swinging. It was during this brutal, agonizing 5-game losing streak, right around the time Eala took a commanding 4-2 or 5-2 lead in the first set, that Coco Gauff finally panicked and pulled the emergency cord. She called for a lengthy medical timeout. The theater of the absurd began. The trainers rushed out onto the court. They rubbed her shoulder with grave expressions on their faces. They wrapped her forearm in heavy bandages. The commentators started whispering in hushed tones about player safety, but the locker room knew exactly what they were watching. They could wrap her arm in 100 layers of bandages, but they could not bandage her shattered confidence. They could not tape up a broken spirit. When Gauff stepped back onto the court after the timeout, she was a walking ghost. The life had completely drained from her eyes. She was brutally broken in the final game of the opening set to lose it 6-2, and the living nightmare continued right into the second set, where Eala, showing absolutely zero mercy, quickly built a 2-0 cushion. That is when the ultimate, historic surrender happened. That is why the white flag was raised for the entire world to see. Coco Gauff realized she was staring down the barrel of a 6-2, 6-0 public execution. She walked to the net, looked Eala in the eyes, and called it a day after barely 54 minutes. She chose the coward's way out. She chose a medical forfeit over a historic, humiliating tennis beatdown. She made a calculated business decision. She decided it was vastly better for her corporate sponsors to have people question the imaginary nerves in her arm than to have the entire world definitively, mathematically realize that Alexandra Eala had completely, permanently figured out her game. The fallout from this specific event in the locker room right now is absolutely nuclear. It is a biological hazard zone. The American media syndicate is in a state of unprecedented, uncontrolled chaos. They are terrified because they know better than anyone else that Eala is rapidly becoming an unstoppable global juggernaut that they do not control. By forcing this retirement, Eala just became the very first player from the Philippines in the entire history of the sport to reach the round of 16 at the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells. She is breaking historic barriers, she is shattering glass ceilings into a million pieces, and she is doing it by mentally breaking the biggest, most protected stars on the planet. But do you want to know what the absolute most terrifying part of this entire story is for the veteran players? It isn't just the heavy topspin, it isn't just the incredible court coverage, it is exactly how Eala handled the victory. A lesser player, an immature player, would have gloated. A lesser player would have pumped her fists, screamed at the crowd, and bragged to the press about making the world number 4 quit on her home court. But what did our girl do? She gave an absolute, legendary masterclass in psychological dominance disguised as pure, untouchable class. At the net, the pair exchanged a hug, and Gauff apologized for having to quit. Eala didn't roll her eyes. She didn't act dismissive. During her on-court interview, right in the middle of International Women's Day, Eala grabbed the microphone and delivered a speech that belongs in the Louvre. She looked out at the massive, stunned American crowd. She smiled her beautiful, completely unbothered smile, and she thanked Coco Gauff. She looked at the woman whose soul she had just crushed and called her an amazing competitor and an amazing role model, and she wished her a speedy recovery. She even looked into the camera and said, "I really didn't want to win this way." Do you understand the absolute, bone-chilling brilliance of that specific moment? She completely dismantled the face of American tennis, forced her to quit in a panic, and then graciously thanked her for being a role model. It is the ultimate, undisputed power move. It shows the entire locker room that Eala is completely unaffected by the drama. It proves that she is totally grounded, absolutely graceful, and terrifyingly focused on the bigger picture. She isn't just trying to win matches. She is trying to win the hearts of the global public, and she is succeeding flawlessly. She then turned to the massive, incredibly loud Filipino community in the crowd, the fans who had been screaming their lungs out for her, and she shouted, "Mabuhay, may kababayan, and dito tayo sa California. Maraming salamat sa suporta, at makita tayo sa next round." The Eala army has officially, undeniably taken over Indian Wells. The establishment is officially dead and buried in the California desert. The old guard has been violently, permanently overthrown. Coco Gauff has been sent packing to get a meaningless MRI scan to protect her pride, while Alexandra Eala marches forward, completely unbothered, to face Linda Noskova in the round of 16. There are no more excuses left for the media to use. There are no more fabricated narratives about her lacking experience or needing time to develop. The development phase is over. Alexandra Eala is the undisputed, terrifying apex predator of the WTA Tour, and she is collecting the souls of Grand Slam champions for absolute fun. I need you to completely flood the comments section of this video right now. I need the Eala army to mobilize and make their voices heard so loudly, so aggressively, that the sports media cannot possibly ignore the brutal truth anymore. What is your immediate reaction to Coco Gauff quitting after just 54 minutes of play? Do you believe the media's pathetic excuse about the fireworks in her arm, or do you completely agree with the absolute truth that Eala completely broke her spirit with those devastating drop shots and heavy punishing baseline returns? How incredibly proud are you of Eala's classy, brilliant, legendary Women's Day speech after the match? Is there anyone left on this tour who isn't terrified of her? Drop your wildest celebrations, your deepest tactical analysis, your loudest cheers, and your absolute boldest predictions for her next match against Noskova in the comments below. The generational revolution is not coming, it is already here, the establishment is in ashes, and Alexandra Eala is proudly wearing the crown. Let's go!